on the beat.
Zambezi, Zambezi. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah, yeah. Takolani lani Zambezi, Zambezi.
Hello, good morning, Jambo, bonjour. You're listening to the Paradigm Initiative podcast with me, Gio Nze.
Zambezi, tirina mutima wa ubuntu ku Zambezi. Takolani lani.
Today's edition of the podcast is quite special because we're coming to you from Lusaka in Zambia at the 12th edition of the Digital Rights and Inclusion Forum. And charity, they say, starts from home, so we're definitely starting from home. We're going to be discussing the Digital Rights and Inclusion Report, Londa, for 2024 for Zambia. We have with us a guest today. She's called Chiti Mutati, Programs Officer at Paradigm Initiative and author of the Londa Report for Zambia. Hi Chiti, good morning.
Hi Gio, and since you're in Zambia, I'll add a Zambian greeting to your list of greetings. Mulibwanji.
Mulibwanji. And what's the response?
Buino.
Buino?
Mulibwanji.
Oh, Mulibwanji. Buino, Mulibwanji.
Yes, so you're saying Buino means I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Mulibwanji, how are you?
How are you? So it's like you say, how are you? I say, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, so you're just passing it back.
Oh.
Yeah, so
okay,
Mulibwanji.
Buino, Mulibwanji.
Buino.
Oh goodness, this is beautiful. I should definitely come for more lessons.
Yeah.
So you are hosting us here at Drift 2025. How has it been so far?
Drift has been amazing. It's actually my first Drift.
Okay.
And I don't know, it's different. You sit in on the meetings and you hear everyone discussing, and I was watching all the teams' highlights from their favorite Drift or whatever. But actually experiencing it for the first time has been amazing. The feedback seems to have been really good, and everyone, like, the energy is just so nice. People rushing to sessions. So yeah, it's been an amazing experience so far.
Oh, great. And I've been loving the energy here in Lusaka so far. And I know you people have an election coming up. Just give us what you think should be the state of digital engagement towards the process.
Yeah, so I think the one thing I'm really hoping for in Zambia is that we don't go down the path of what we've been seeing recently, right? The trend as governments approach elections to, look to stifle civic engagement on digital spaces and through digital platforms. We've seen it in Malawi already, with the government taking on this almost a mass surveillance software focused on social media. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a free and fair and digitally enabled election. That would be something I'd be really happy to see, to kind of uphold Zambia's reputation for having a very, very good election process and a very smooth handover of power.
So talking about reputation, Zambia's reputation for digital rights and inclusion is captured in the 2024 Londa report, which you authored. Can you share two key highlights of that report with us?
Okay, so yeah, Zambia's score for this year, I gave it 45 out of 60 on our proprietary index that we've introduced this year.
Yeah.
Looking at a number of factors, I think what really stands out for me, the very positive side of our holistic view of Zambia and its focus on digital rights and inclusion would really be around the progress that has been made in helping Zambia move forward in a as the world evolves into this digital economy, right?
Yeah.
I think there's been a lot of focus on bringing in investment from all of the big players. So we've had Google here, we've had Microsoft here, focus on increasing connectivity. We've let Starlink into the country. Starlink is, really focused on increasing the number of people who are coming online. We've had investments in towers. We've also seen, quite a deliberate focus on improving the cost of services for the ordinary person in Zambia. So I'd really give that a very big thumbs up from the connectivity side.
Yeah.
From the emerging technology side, I've also been quite impressed. We've had a number of our strategies created and actually implemented. And I think chief of these is our national AI strategy. So that was actually launched by the government at the end of 2024. And it's quite a robust piece of paper.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of what I'd say the government did very well was the stakeholder engagement.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of discussions with the private sector. There was a lot of discussions with civil society, a lot of discussions with ordinary people. And I think they can be quite proud of that. Also becoming one of very few African countries to have introduced its own standalone AI strategy.
Yeah.
So what I really like about it, the focus, they highlight connectivity as a key aim. They highlight sustainability as a key aim, which is, really important, especially in the context of our continent, right?
Yeah.
Cyber security and cyber trust is another key aim that they highlight, and innovation and entrepreneurship, which in Zambia right now, our unemployment rate is so high, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it was very important. It was very important to have a strategy that looks at the unique issues that we are facing and will ensure that, or will aim to ensure that our youths aren't being further marginalized by technology.
So you're painting a very beautiful picture.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really wishing I was Zambian now. But then one would think there are no issues.
Yeah.
So I know there are so many things that are captured, but there are also other things which you might like to speak to. For example, the adoption of specific child protection laws, policies promoting children's digital safety and privacy online. Where does Zambia stand with that?
Yeah, so, that brings me to what I would say was the downside of the Zambia as a country in the year under review in terms of the commitment to digital rights.
Yeah.
So just to take you back, we're in a new administration right now, right? So as I mentioned earlier, Zambia went through peaceful elections about 4 years ago. And we changed from one political party, the Patriotic Front, to a new one who we have now, the UPND. And one of the really repressive things about our previous government was the introduction of a cyber law, right? And it was done with, very little consultation. It had very, very harsh and repressive provisions, which the government were actively enforcing, especially, again, as I mentioned, as we were approaching election times. Now, our current president came into power, and one of his main promises was that we would repeal that act, which kudos to them, they did very early on. And it's the law then went through a period of about 3 years where it was being reviewed and refined. Towards the end of middle of last year, they then introduced 2 separate bills. So third quarter of last year, sorry. So that repealed law was then split into 2 separate bills. So one focusing on cybersecurity and one focusing on cyber crimes. It was, so on the positive side, what you've mentioned about child protection online, I think that's one of the areas I really commend the new bills. I think they've tackled that very seriously, especially in the context of Zambia, where we're having, I'd call it a scourge right now of child abuse, where I think, and I'd say this was, again, my one negative of what I researched and discovered in the drafting of my Londa chapter, is that, unfortunately, I would say that the 2 laws haven't gone far enough in allaying the fears of the public, the fears of civil society.
So this is already about recommendations, which means this is one of the issues that should be taken into account by...
Yes, I think the downside, and I'd say my recommendation, is that the laws, both laws, and they're now laws actually, our president signed them into effect early April. still maintain some very concerning provisions, right? Particularly if you look at the context of our rights as citizens, right? So the right to freedom of speech, the right to privacy. I think there's some provisions in the laws which are actually at odds with what we have been guaranteed by our constitution. Yeah, as well as all of the regional and global provisions which our government has signed up to. So, for example, the Malambo Convention. Yeah. So recommendations. It's not too late. I think we have a listening president. It's not too late for him to listen to the public outcry. It's not too late for him to listen to civil society. And we can go back to the drawing board, do further consultations, have further discussions, and ensure that we are producing laws and we're creating a country that is in line with what is globally accepted around citizens' rights and citizens' rights to feel free in their countries and to express themselves in their countries and to also have our privacy protected.
Thank you very much, Chiti. So maybe just before we go, I would like to know, what is your favorite sport?
My favorite sport is golf.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I started playing golf about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then didn't take it I liked it, but I didn't have time for it because golf, you need time. Like, you can't have things to do when you're playing golf.
So I was looking at it from the perspective of you play with people.
Yes.
And if we're linking that to the Londa report, Zambia is not alone in this report.
Yes.
So there are 27 countries in total.
Yes.
And this year there's the introduction of the score index in the Londa report. And that's where we're talking about scores and ranking. So the same way you'd play golf with a couple of people, while Zambia is a country on its own, we are a continent of so many other countries. And the score index ranks countries based on a number of rubrics, including internet shutdowns, false news criminalization, invasion of privacy, and so many more. Our listeners are definitely going to see these in the Londa report. But then Zambia ranks among the top 5 in this report. What is your view of that? When I look at the report, I see there are other countries. My own country, I have to scroll down like twice before I can see it somewhere on that list. But Zambia ranks among the top 5. Does that mean you've arrived, or there's still room for improvement?
No. I'd say well done, but we still have a very long way to go. And as I said to you, when I was explaining to you about Londa, this was very much done before the cyber law was actually enacted. So it's not a threat, but, it may impact how it looks next year. But what I will say, Zambia ranks very well on, a number of issues that we're seeing play out in Africa, which have not happened here. So, for example, internet shutdowns. We've only had one. And that was, as I mentioned, the outgoing government.
One is too many.
One is too many, but it was immediately condemned. It's never happened again, in the last 4 years. And even when it happened, it was a shock. As in, it's not how we do things, So Zambia ranked very well on the internet shutdowns. I think Zambia is ranking very well on the efforts towards digital inclusion, as I mentioned before. There's been a concerted effort, concerted investment into that, even in our national development plans. I think we also rank very well around our legislation. So our data protection legislation, that's been enacted. Our data protection commissioner, he's in place. I know that he's already working very well with everyone to ensure compliance. So there are a lot of areas I'm really proud of Zambia for. There are just some pitfalls and risks that I'd warn about. But I'm very happy with where we stand.
Takulandilani Zambezi, takulandilani Zambezi, takulandilani Zambezi, takulandilani.
Thank you very much for coming to the PIN podcast today.
A pleasure.
So just before we go, one last lesson. I learned to say good morning, how are you? So how do I say thank you, goodbye?
Ziko mokwambili
Oh,
Thank you very much.
can you
Zikomo
Zikomo
Kwambili.
Oh, Zikomo Kwambili Chiti. We are glad to have had you here with us on the podcast. Thank you very much, dear listeners. That was today's edition of the Paradigm Initiative podcast, brought to you from Lusaka, Zambia, at the 12th edition of the Digital Rights and Inclusion Forum.